All right, guys, we're back. We're back for some more. We got a little surprise for you, too. Check out what Skylar's got going on here. So the other mic come in, so we can both be mic'd up now.
Finally.
Yeah, so that should sound pretty cool on the videos.
Yeah.
All right, I want to catch y'all up. So it's Saturday morning. On Wednesday, we had an opportunity. We had snow in the area and all that, and we wound up with an opportunity where we could go do a little bit of work on the box. What we decided to tackle that day was buying the long bolts that were going to support the port, and we wound up going to 4 places that day, and we still didn't buy the bolts from a store. But what we decided on was 3/4 inch. They're huge, guys. 3/4 inch bolts. His current box has a couple of.
There's some of the washers here.
Yeah, look at the size of those washers. So we did order the bolts, and we bought the washers and nuts that day. We wound up buying those from an Ace Hardware, believe it or not. Now we could have bought those at maybe any of the 4 places that we went.
Yeah, I think
or
so.
three of the 4.
Yeah.
But we wound up, they're going to be 3/4 inch, and they're going to be 12 inch tall. We actually only need them to be about 10, but we wanted to go with 11 so they would stick out of the nut a little bit. When you get that big on bolts, it's kind of difficult to get the exact inch that you want on length. So 12 inches, they're probably going to be a little long.
Yeah. Most places had like a 10 or a 12. They didn't have an 11. I don't think we saw any 11s at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, most places had either a 10 or 12, and that was just kind of, 10 was cutting it a little close on if they would have been long enough or if they would have stuck up the right amount or whatever. So we went with 12s because that was plenty long, and you're not going to see them inside the box anyway. So
yeah, they're on order. They didn't come in time to install them this weekend, but we got a lot of little nitpicky stuff to work on. One of the things we might end up doing this weekend is drilling the holes for all that. We're probably going to disassemble this box again. It's probably going to get disassembled 1 or 2 more times so that we can drop the port down onto here as just 2 separate pieces of wood over here, and then we drill through both of those pieces of wood at the same time so that those holes will line up as good as possible, instead of trying to drill through here and then hit the same spot all the way down here. We could use a plumb and all that kind of stuff to try to get that right, but drilling them as they're sandwiched together is probably going to give us the best results. So we may get to drilling the holes for all of them this weekend. But first thing this morning, we're going to focus on his lithium. So the lithium has been back here in the back of the truck for 2 full weeks now. And we've checked in on the voltages on all of them. What is it, 2 or 3 times?
I think 3 times.
3 times, I think. And it's been really cool to see the voltages on those change and get closer together in voltage. But anyhow, we've got all of his hardware out, including the balancer.
These are all the bolts and nuts to put everything together. There's the bus bars themselves, the balancer here, and the tiny little bolts to put the balancer onto the bus bars.
Yeah, these bus bars come pre-drilled with they're tapped and everything. Each bar has a little hole. We'll switch them around and orient them the way we want them. But yeah, really cool how that works out. This is the same that I bought for the test bench. So anyhow, we're gonna shut the camera off, get the lithium out of the back of the truck and set up here. And we'll check the voltages on them first, but then we'll just start bolting them to the bus bars. All right, let's get to that. All right, guys, we got them out of the green truck. We got them all unhooked from each other with the welding wire we was using, and we tested the voltage on all of them. Skylar, show us the results.
All right, so we started with our lowest voltage on one of these being at 2.26 volts. I'm sorry. Lowest at 2.23, highest at 2.26, and now they are at, the highest is 2.249, so it's an extra digit from up here to 2.232. So they've gotten quite a bit closer We didn't measure the thousandths place, or yeah, thousandths place on those two, so we're not exactly sure what that is. But they have gotten closer by quite a bit. Now that's after 2 weeks. They're probably plenty good to start to put them together at this, but we just wanted to let them sit since we wasn't going to be doing anything with them anyway. So
yep, and when
wasn't
we
no point in letting
first
them.
got them, I think that first thing that we wrote down, Skylar, was after they had
Yeah,
balanced for
I think that
a couple
was-
days. 'Cause
yeah.
when we first got them, I think they ranged from 2.2 to 2.3, so they was
Yeah.
off by 1/10 of a volt, which is
Yeah.
already real
so that
close.
was that first 2.26 to 2.23 was actually after they had been balancing for a day or two, something like that. But pretty much after that, they haven't moved a whole lot. So after they've been balancing for a couple days, it's probably plenty good to put them together and stuff.
Yeah,
But
that's true. All right, so we're going to start assembling them here in a minute. We won't make you watch all of that, but maybe we'll show you some of it. But basically, this is going to be the series. So sticking through the hole with a nut on the end is going to be like, for example, positive, negative. I'm sorry. It's going to be positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, and the ends as well. And then going this way, they're going to match going this way because that's the parallel portion. And then going this way, it's going to be alternated,
Yeah,
and
we
that's
have
what increases the voltage. And then this way increases the capacity.
yeah, I know we got it laid out in 2 rows right now, but it's going to be 4 rows of 6 instead of being 2 rows of 12. So it kind of looks a little funny right now, but it's going to be 4 banks of 6 cells apiece.
All right, we're going to start assembling them. You'll see what we're talking about here in just a minute. All right, guys, we got half of it put together. Everything's going well. So we got positive, and then it's coming up, and it's going back down. So when you look at them, the tops, you see they got the red and the black. So we're red, black, red, black, red, black. So this will be the positive. So look how many connections there are for hooking something up to this.
I think there's 11 of them.
And then all the way down here will be the negative, all the way down. We're going to torque these. They've got written right on them.
7 Newton meters.
7 Newton meters. So we did a quick internet search
Yeah,
to
they
see
come
how
out-
many foot-pounds that was, and then I wound up realizing we were going to use the 1/4 inch torque wrench. We've got an adapter
Yeah,
from a 1/4 up to a 3/8. These are 18 millimeters, by the way.
Yep.
The nuts. And so, Skylar, what did it come out to be?
came out to from 7 Newton meters to I think like 5 point something foot pounds, then up to 62 inch pounds.
Yep.
So that's what we're going to be tightening them down to.
Yep.
What they're rated
So-
says it right on the cells.
So we're already set over here to 62 inch pounds. We're putting them all together loose right now by hand, and then we'll torque them all on one side, flip the battery over, and torque the whole other side, and then we'll get to putting that that balancer on. All right, guys, we're gonna put the rest of these together. Skylar, how many batteries was it all together? It's 24, right?
Yes. Yep.
24. So we got 12 already. Let's do the other 12. All right, guys, we got them all together. We got them all torqued. Boy, I tell you, 62 inch pounds is not very much.
Yeah, it's a
But-
lot less than you would think it is.
Right, but they went together great. Skylar, show us the voltage. Now, keep in mind, we started out at 2.2, and we have not put these on any kind of a charger.
Yep.
So he's going to touch them together, and look where we're at. 13.45, just, from adding these together in series. So we've instantly got 190 amp hours. They do need to be charged up. But the next thing we're going to get to doing is putting terminals on the ends of our balancer. So, guys, it's a good idea to keep stuff like this on hand if you fool with electronics a lot. We wound up being able to pick out exactly what we needed. So we're going to get to stripping all these back and crimping on little terminals to all these. And then we'll go around and bolt them on, and then plug the balancer into the wiring harness. It's got a little harness on it, and then on this end is a little harness.
This thing just plugs right into there.
But we'll put them on the bus bars first, and then plug the. We also have to do that soldering thing before we do that as well.
Yep.
Change the little solder thing over to LTOs. All right, we're going to get to working on some of that. All right, guys, we got the balancer wires all put on there. They all went on real nice. Now we're going to take you over there to where my soldering iron is nice and hot, and we're going to try to get you some nice close-up footage of what I've got to do right here to make this for it to be a LTO instead of LFP. All right, let's go over there and do that. All right, guys, if y'all can see right here, you see where that says LTO, and then over here says NCM LFP. So that's connected. There's actually 3 contacts, and these 2 contacts are connected right now. And I need to move this solder over here to connect the LTO to the one in the middle. And I may have to add some more solder, or I may not. I want to say when I did mine, cannot remember, but see how that come off of there so well? Come on now. It's already connected now. I'm just trying to make it a little bit prettier. Well, I just keep trying to pretty it up, but it's already, there we go. Are you able to see that?
There we go.
See how there's now no solder over there by NCM LFP, and those 2 are now connected. All right, just thought y'all might enjoy seeing that. All right, we're going to take it over there now, and we're going to plug it into the harness. All right, guys, we just got it plugged in. We plugged it in off camera. Just want to show y'all. The harness just plugs in.
Yep, you got all these B minus. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but
will it refocus?
Yeah, B minus through B plus 6, and then that's how you kind of determine which bus bar each one goes on.
They do need to go.
The B minus goes on the very end negative, and the the B6 plus goes on the last one, and then they kind of go in order. But yeah, it's got a little light on it that shows it's balancing.
Yep.
And
it's good to go. Guys, if everything goes right, we're going to go get a container. I don't want to tell you just yet what it is.
Yep.
But we're gonna put this in a container at least for a little while. In his Tahoe, it may be in this box that we're wanting to get, and we may end up building a custom wooden. I don't know yet what we're going to do. We're just kind of playing that by ear. But we do want to put this in something for a little while. Also, think about this, guys. We now have, I don't know how many amp hours that is, but his bank and my bank, we could put his bank connected to my bank on the test bench anytime I want to do a real big amp. And we actually have talked about, if we ever want to do that, have a couple of long wires. We could even have his bank hooked up to my bench along with my bank while his is still in the Tahoe, and then we get the benefit of those 2 AGMs that are under the hood and his McMahon 370 along with my bank, and it has a 100 amp power supply on that. That's a lot of amp hours and a lot of charging when you add all that up together.
A lot of
as
power.
Well, I don't know, we could do a big old amp.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so we got some options going forward with this thing other than just in his Tahoe. So that's kind of exciting. All right, so we're fixing to go grab some lunch and probably make a run to town to get some supplies for some of the other stuff that we want to do this weekend for the box. We'll check back in with you here in a few minutes. All right, guys, we're back at our favorite place. Not really. It's actually our second or third favorite place. All right, so believe it or not, this is going to be his terminals.
Yep.
His speaker terminals for his box.
3/8.
So yeah, 3/8 threaded rod, really cool. But we're going to put some big threaded inserts in his box, and 3 or 4 inch or whatever we decide on for his
got a bunch
terminals.
of lock nuts and washers and stuff to try to get the sandwich those ring terminals on there real well. And of course we'll cut this. There's going to be 4 of them, 2 positive, 2 negatives made out of this. So
yeah, and we're doing it that way on purpose so that we can thread on and off, or take on and off from each side of that box without having to loosen a nut on one side, and then now the whole thing is loose. Our thoughts are that it'll stay put well enough that you can take on or off of each side without the whole thing being loose. All right, we've got one more stop to make, but that's it for old Marvin's. We'll see y'all in a little bit. All right, guys, we're back from our trip to town, and that last stop that we had to make was Wally World. So these are heart containers, kind of like an egg crate, but it's a little different, a little thicker than a egg crate or milk crate is what I mean to say. But 4 banks of Yinlongs fit in these things really well.
Especially with these bus bars, because the way these bus bars are, they kind of stick out on the sides to have those extra hookup spots here. And those corners, they just fit in these corners like perfectly.
Yeah,
it's the
really
right
good
depth and everything.
Yeah, there's like no play left this way, and there's only a tiny bit of play this way. And some of that even gives you room down in there.
Yeah, we got the balancer down in there.
Balancer.
We're going to end up probably with zip ties, mounting that thing somewhere instead of being just stuffed down in there where wires can get crushed or whatever. We'll probably end up zip tying it or screwing it or something to give it a little more permanent mounting.
And
but
this blue, we're not sure how long we'll roll with this. We like it quite a bit, but it's going to be perfect with the theme of the Tahoe.
Yeah. Especially the white cells.
The blue wiring and stuff.
Yeah, you can see the white cells. Of course, I mean, not much because they're down in there, but the white cells with the blue is the perfect theme for the Tahoe. And to be honest, we have these little floor mats that kind of pretty much fit perfectly as like a cover. Nice fit. And I got 2 of them because honestly I couldn't decide which one I like better, the clear or the black. So that's what the black looks like. And then the clear.
Let us know what you like better.
The clear. And they do sit in there a little better than what I'm doing right now, but they both look kind of cool, to be honest.
It's a pretty decent fit. The clear is kind of neat because you can kind of see through it a little bit. It's just to protect if somebody was to drop a wrench or a screwdriver or something. I don't know, just to protect a little bit better. Guys, I don't know if this is going to be permanent or if we'll end up making a box with something even better for the top. We don't really know. We're playing it by ear for now, but this is definitely going to get us by for a while. And the reason we knew that this worked really well is because that's what the test bench has had for a while. So there's my black cells. Look, balancer down there, just like the other one with the light on it. And I don't know, it's worked out so great. And so that's what we wanted to do with this one as well, especially right out of the gate. But imagine all these together, guys. 8 banks. And his, keep in mind, are the 45 amp hours. So he's got 180 amp hours right there. I've got 160. We was adding it up a while ago. We was talking about how we could possibly hook his Tahoe up to the test bench. What did we say we had total? 500 amp hours? Yeah,
so just the lithiums combined, my white cells and his black cells will be 340, plus my AGMs in there too, if it's hooked up to the Tahoe while it's charging and everything, will be 500 amp hours total, plus the 370 amps worth of charging.
The McMahon 370.
That'll be pretty serious.
And the 100 amp power supply. Now I have this bolted to the side of my box, but that's what I charge my lithium with. But you think about the capacity that we have there.
Oh yeah.
If we stick all of it together, that's, I don't know if we'll ever actually do that, but but we can if we want to.
Yep.
All right, so guys, we're fixing to get into a few other little things. And
got 8 washers here.
Yep, so these 8 are fixing to get something really cool done to them. 4 and 4, we'll show you in just a second, but what it's going to be for is to denote positive and negative for his speaker wires. Because we got that threaded rod. We're fixing to make him some terminals, and we want to be able to show the difference between the positive and the negative.
Yep, these are for the terminals from the amp going to wherever on the box. We end up putting them. These are basically what's going to make the terminals. So these are all 3/8 rod, washers, nuts, all that.
Yep. So we're going to move some of this stuff out of the way, and we'll show you here in just a second what we're going to do with these washers. All right, guys, here we go. Y'all gonna hear the little oven ticking because it's heating up over there. All right, so this is the back side of the box. We've spun the box around. Yep. Skylar, tell them what we got going on here about your terminals.
All right, so basically, we're gonna put terminals. We originally were gonna do terminals on the side of the box. Then we realized for clearance issues, mainly just getting in and out of the Tahoe, because once it's in the Tahoe, there's no clearance issues on the sides. They actually still have pretty good clearance up here. But for getting the box in and out of the Tahoe, the terminals are pretty much going to have to be on the backside with the amps, isolators, everything, roughly, just for a good layout here. Amps are going to be roughly in this area on either side. Isolators probably in the middle towards the bottom. And then we're going to have our terminals like 2 here and 2 here or something for the speaker wires. So there will be black and blue wires going to right here from the amps, probably from this amp to these 2 subs, and this amp to these 2 subs, and there'll be 2 more over here. Blue positive, black negative, just like the whole rest of the build. And then, yeah, so we're gonna have the all thread, probably 2 something like right here, and then on the same over here somewhere. It's going to be positive, negative for them 2, positive, negative for these 2. We're going to do washers. These 4. Dang it. On the inside of the box and the outside of the box. But we're going to have that all thread stuff. Cut this up into like 4 pieces. Not exactly sure how long they're going to be yet. But then we're going to have washers like right here for the positive. And right here for the negative, give or take. We don't have anything marked out yet, but we'll have like a washer here for to squeeze up against the box to kind of clamp it in place so they don't spin or nothing. We're going to have like a blue washer. We're going to powder coat these washers blue and black so we know which one is positive and negative. And then same over here, we're going to have 2 more. And that's going to be on the outside of the box and on the inside of the box. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, we was trying to think of a cool way to denote which one's positive, which one's negative. We thought about painting them, and I was like, hey, wait, I've still got all that powder coat stuff from something else I used to do. It's kind of related to that banner over there. I don't want to say too much because I don't want the video to get demonetized. But those things that go flying through the air, I like to fool with that stuff.
There's a little hint in your intro as well.
That's true. That's true. They've seen a little bit. Yeah. But I like to powder coat because I like to cast and pour my own, and I got to doing some powder coating on those things as well. So I had all this stuff on hand, and going along with his black and blue theme, I happen to have black and blue powder coat. And this is nice powder coat too, by the way. I know these are in Harbor Freight containers, but I wound up buying powder from Powder by the Pound, so it's a really high quality powder, just like the stuff from Eastwood. But Skylar, show them the colors there.
Yeah. So we got blue and black, just like the whole rest of the build.
Yeah. So y'all know powder coat is a lot more durable than paint. So we thought, heck, let's powder coat these washers instead of just paint them. It'll be more durable and kind of fun in the process and a little bit different. Skylar, tell them a little bit why we're not going to go with SMD terminals. We've used a lot of SMD terminals in the past on a few different boxes.
They're actually on that box over there with my subs in it now.
But we're not going to use SMD terminals on this box. And it kind of breaks our heart just a little bit, but there's a good reason why we're not going to do that.
Yeah, so there's actually a couple reasons. So one, we'd have to cut holes in the box, or in the piece of wood here, which not a huge deal, but it does weaken this piece just a smidge. 2, they're kind of big, and we're going to be mounting a lot of stuff to the back of this box. I don't know how much space, or if we would have enough space to do that. I mean, it's not like a huge deal. I think we would, but that's just one of the other added bonuses. And then weakening the box, plus having the 2 layers thick, this wood is a lot thicker. Might be having to have some wires that are not pinched, that's not the right word, but kind of cramped in those holes. And then as well as those terminals just being kind of weak. We've always been a little worried with that box over there that those terminals are a little weak. And that all thread and everything's going to be just drilling some tiny little holes through the box. So that'll be a lot stronger, and we'll be sandwiching it real good. Those Steve Mead terminals only mount from one side, so they don't really sandwich, or they're not like super structurally.
Most of them. I
strong.
think he does have a model out now that kind of sandwiches.
Yeah, but on top of those things are pretty expensive, and I bought all those washers, nuts, all thread for like $15. That's cheaper than one terminal, and we got 2 full terminals out of it. 2 positives, 2 negatives. There was something else. The spinning. So one of the things, probably the biggest issue out of those Steve Mead terminals, and he definitely makes some that are better that don't do this, but with those, they're just a bolt that goes through the terminal, through the box, and whenever you tighten down the inside of the box, it spins the whole bolt. So whenever you're doing that, or same thing from the outside, it'll tighten it or loosen it from whenever you're tightening the outside of the box. So your terminals will kind of spin, which means if you got your wire coming straight down, whenever you're loosening, it'll tighten. We've actually had issues out of that. We had a lot of troubleshooting to do one night because we were redoing some mids and highs on the Tahoe, and we put all the base back in. We were pretty much done. Put all the door panels back on and seats in and everything. Put the subs back in. Everything played great, but the subs wouldn't play at all. Turns out those terminals, whenever we tighten them down, they actually hit each other whenever we was tightening them, and they was barely touching at all. But the subs, it put the amp in protect mode because it was showing 0 ohms and wouldn't play nothing. So it caused us a little bit of an issue. So that's one of the things we're going to solve, hopefully. Put them things far enough away where they won't ever do that. And with the way we're going to do it, we're going to make it to where they don't spin at all. So whenever it's sandwiched, that all thread's sandwiched against the wood, pushing up against it real tight, you're not going to be able to spin that at all because it'll be in an insert and then tightened with a nut here and a nut on the other side real tight, and it's not going to be able to move anywhere. So that was the main issues with that. Still love those terminals. They look great on the white, especially from the inside. They look pretty cool, but I think this is just going to be a better, more strong structurally way to do this, and this whole box is about that. So
and those, keep in mind that all thread is going to be spun into a large 3/8
where they went, but
threaded insert. So they're not just simply going to be going through the wood. There's going to be a threaded insert in there that it's threaded into and then sandwiched from both sides. Also, these are large. 3/8 is pretty big for speaker terminals. There's a reason why we're going with 3/8. If y'all know, on the larger terminals, you typically have 2 sizes, 5/16 and 3/8. So we've gotten to where we used to buy a little bit of both, and then sometimes they wouldn't fit right. We got to where we would buy 3/8 on everything. So we use lugs with a 3/8 inch hole. So by using the 3/8 all thread, it's going to take up the hole in the lugs just perfect. So a lot of different reasons and things going on as to why we're doing it this way. But all right, we're going to turn the camera off and we're going to get to doing some powder coating, and we'll let you know what these washers look like here in just a minute. All right, guys, so thought y'all might wonder what's going on here. I forgot to kind of talk about it the first time. But we're going to use what's called the shake and bake method. This works pretty well. You don't have to have the gun for the static. These are plastic BBs in here. These are Cool Whip containers. You shake them around, it creates a static electricity inside the container. It's just a combination of the BBs and the container, and it kind of sticks pretty well to what it is you're coating. Sometimes you have to do a couple of coats, but still it works well and it's pretty simple. Also, we're baking at 400 degrees. I think my thing's set on 350 because 350 on here is actually 400. I tested that with a thermometer, but 400 degrees for 20 minutes. But yeah, so we'll put the lids on here in a minute. We'll shake these things up. We'll take the lid off, see how they look, but we'll take them out one at a time. When they look like they're coated good, we'll bake them. They might even get done a couple times, like fully baked and everything a couple times to make them look nice. But Skylar, explain to them why we're even doing this as opposed to what
so
you normally see.
I'm sure most of y'all probably picked up on this. I was talking about blue and blacks, kind of the whole power and ground theme of the vehicle and everything. But I want to do the blue and black washers to signify positive and negative on the box, instead of, you see a lot of the times people will just write with a Sharpie positive and negative or whatever. I just wanted to have a better way without having to draw in Sharpie or just try and remember which one's which. So, and not get them switched up, like inside the box is this and then outside. You know, I just wanted to have a good way to know inside and outside the box which one's which without it looking like crap. So that's why we're doing this, and hopefully it'll turn out pretty good. So.
Yeah, hopefully so. I think so as well. So, all right, guys, let's get to shaking and baking.
Yep.
All right, guys, there they are. They have not been baked yet, but y'all can see the old shake and bake method. Just does a good job of putting the powder coat on there because of static electricity. But these are going to probably need coated twice. We're fixing to stick these in now, and they'll be in there for 20 minutes. We'll take them back out. We'll put them back in there, shake them up again, put them back in for another 20, and they'll probably be good to go after that. But let me know what you think about those. Pretty cool. We'll show you what they look like when they come out. All right, guys, here's our powder coated washers. They turned out real splotchy, honestly. I don't know why they look like that. This was how many coats? 4 coats. They are completely coated. They're very splotchy. I mean, in a way, they are kind of still cool looking too. And that coat there should be way more durable than paint. So we're gonna go with it. Let me know what you think about the blue and the black there, as opposed to just a cool way to denote positive and negative. Guys, for those of y'all, as a thank you for sticking around all the way to the end of the video, I'm going to insert about 3 pictures right here at the end of the video to let you know what I normally do with this blue and black powder coat. So anyhow, let me know what you think about this. We are going to get to cutting some little studs, little terminal studs, and getting them placed and drilled and ready for the box. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next time.